Good evening, everyone. It's Lisa from Craftin' and Cruisin', along with Rodney from Craftin' and Cruisin'.
Hello.
And you all may have seen the video that we did earlier today with the grandchildren. So when you hop on, say hi. Let me know you're on here and where you're watching from. And if you watch the replay, let me know that too. Hey, Joyce. So the past couple of years on our family vacation, the grandchildren decided that they wanted, hey Grace, they wanted to dye Pop's hair. So the first year we did it, it was limelight green, which is his favorite color. And then last year in the Cayman Islands, they did it purple, and they did not only his hair, but his mustache. Well, this year we forgot while we were on vacation to do his hair. And I think it was the youngest granddaughter, Brianna, when we got home, said, we forgot to do Pop's hair. Oh, no. And so they've been here with us. We're taking them back to Lexington tomorrow. And so we decided before they went back that we needed to all get together, hey Jill, and dye his hair. So he went to buy the dye today and decided that 4th of July would really be the best look because he already has natural white. Well, he has natural white in the back. He has natural nothing up here, but natural white in the back. So, that he had a towel around the front of him. He had a towel over his eyes. He had taped off the top part of his bald head so it wouldn't get color on it. And they went to town and had a ball. So he had like a red stripe and then the natural white hair and then a blue stripe. And then they did his mustache, half red, half blue. And then the second to youngest granddaughter braided it. So I videotaped it. Of course, it's not a professional job, but it's on my page. So y'all can get on there and have fun with it. So this is going to be a really quick live because I want us to finish up the old paper towel holder that we started the other night. I was going to try to get on last night and finish it. We went out to dinner and it just didn't happen. So we're leaving tomorrow for Lexington. Then we're going to Ohio to Kathy D's 4th of July party. Then Ronnie has a job. And so we will be back sometime next week. So I'll probably do a watercolor while we're gone. I am taking a few other things in case the watercolor doesn't pan out. But anyway, so remember the other night we took this, and of course I failed to take a before picture, but it was just wood, just like this. And it had this put through it. And remember I wanted to do it, and I did do it, in a layer of the old newsprint from a couple of different magazines and newspapers I had. And then I wanted to crackle it. Well, I tried to crackle it, and it didn't work. Hey, Barbara, your flowers are gorgeous. I'm very jealous. But I did crackle this part, and remember, it worked very well with the Pent Art Fine Line Crackle. So, when this part didn't work, it kind of looked yucky when I waxed over it. So I went back and I put another layer of the old newsprint on both ends. Hey, Deborah Jed. And applied step 1 and step 2 of the Pent Art again. Didn't work. So I just thank you for spreading the inspiration. You're so sweet. And the flowers are gorgeous. I love hydrangeas. I want some. So anyway, you can see right here in this part, apparently I failed to put some more of the newsprint back over that. And so that part did crackle. But it's not crackling on here. So what we're going to do, remember I told you I was going to use Form Flex on it. Okay? to just kind of give it a little bit more dimension. We talked about this being used in a man cave, in maybe a cabin in the woods or in the mountains, some, you know, an old farmhouse. And then I showed you the other thing, big blackboard thing that I'm going to do with that picture of Joan Collins on it. So I'll probably do that next too. So I did my Formflex pieces. I don't think did I bring my mold out here, Rodney? Do you see my mold anywhere out there on the counter? I had it on the kitchen table. Is it under that stuff right here, the white stuff? No. Yes, is it? Okay. So remember I showed y'all this mold the other night, and we chose this one. And so I made 7 of those molds with the Formflex, let them dry overnight, and then I took that bare wax in the antique walnut, and I just took my sponge brush, not sponge brush, but my wax brush, and just daubed it all on here and then wiped it off. Now, Rodney has taught me how to miter pieces so that they will fit together nicely. So you notice the Formflex is still very, very flexible. Now, because parts of it weren't down in the mold well, you can see right there where it's kind of separating. So I don't want to bend it any more than I have to. But what we're going to do is we're going to start out and put it on the top edge. Then we're going to put them around here on both sides. Then, remember the other night I showed you this piece that I got when I was in Oklahoma City at that fabulous store. Dead People Stuff is what it's called. And the other night we kind of hit it with some paint and cinnamon to make it look rusty. Barbara said, "Hi, Rodney, hope you're doing well." So we're putting this back here just for looks, okay? And then I think, since this has the wax on it, it's already so shiny that I'm not going to put a top coat on it. So, Rodney, did you get your hair colored? Can I see it? LOL. Oh, it's back to normal now. Do you have a picture on your phone, Rodney?
No, I wasn't able to take any. Nobody sent me any.
Send your granddaughter text and ask her to send you one, and then we'll hold it up and show you. Right. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take these 2 pieces that I mitered with an angle that Rodney, what happened to it? The one that was here, the gray one.
That was good.
Brought up here. Hey, Gail Richards, and showed me how to lay a piece on here like this. I just took the knife and cut it. And then the other piece we flipped over and did the same thing so they would join together. Now, I'm going to be using, can you open that? I tried to get it open, I couldn't. It's best to use wood glue, so I'm using Titebond Gorilla Wood Glue, but for quick support, I want to also hit it with some hot glue because I really want y'all to be able to see it, hopefully, all put together. So we'll put some of the, mostly wood glue, but occasionally I'm going to put some hot glue just to hold it down. And then any extra, again on here, we will just wipe off with one of our paper towels. And I probably got too much. You know, sometimes less is not more, but it's hard sometimes to know how much to get. But Formflex, I absolutely love. It's very easy to work with. And I love it. It's flexible so that you can move it around and shape it the way you want it shaped. Now, I keep mine in an airtight container and I separate the layers with wax paper. No, we're not camping, Barbara. Tammy Y'all, who is the creator of Formflex and owner of Formflex, said that many times hers just stays out all the time. She doesn't keep it put up. it will. Now, okay, hold on a minute. Once it dries, it won't be quite as bendable. If you need it to be bendable again, you can put it in the microwave for about 10 seconds, 15 at the most, and heat it up just a little bit, and then you'll be able to bend it again. You don't,
You needed just a little more, didn't you?
I did need a little more. I thought I had that measured perfectly.
I'll make you a little piece.
So you can bend it a little bit, which makes it really, really nice. Okay, so look. See, that just took it from plain to a little bit cooler looking. Too rainy here to camp. Storms. Yeah, we had bad storms here today. Okay, hold on a minute. I'm going to hold this wood glue. Can you tear me off a paper towel, please? It's coming out the front, so I need to get all the excess out. Okay, here you go. Y'all ready?
Oh, it stuck to that. Oh, magnet for that. And green shirt.
Okay, so can you cut me? I don't guess we can use these pieces here.
No, they're angled a little bit wrong. Why don't we wait and see what's left over?
Yeah,
from the
let's
other
go
ones?
on and do the other ones first, and then we'll see what we need to do. So now I'm going to come down this, whatever this is called, this little arched piece. My
How do you
fingers
get the
are on-
hot melt on there?
I'm just putting it in places where there's not wood glue.
Okay.
But
The ends.
so I'm going to put it right here. And probably, oops, I need a little glue put in there. Can you put me a little dab of glue in there?
Not hot melt.
Wait a minute, let's just hold it for a minute. I can go in and fill that in where it's cracking with wax. Show you. Hey, Terry. Patriotic Rodney, that's right. That's exactly right. I think I have my wax. I just set it somewhere to take with us.
Oh, it's a can. I saw it.
This table, I thought. Let me put a little more hot melt under here.
I have to wait and wax at the end.
Yeah, it's breaking several places. Let me try to hold it on here, guys.
I think it bends pretty good one time. But then when you go back and flex it again, it's not so good.
The wax is around here.
Okay. Would you like me to...
I used it
right there in
in
the
the
can?
house.
Would you like me to microwave those just a little before you bend them?
Oh, you can.
Would that help?
I don't know.
All right.
We shall see. Needs a little...
2 minutes.
No, like 10 seconds. Let me put a little glue down in here, you guys. Just hold it together because it is trying to crack on me. Hey, Veronica, how are you feeling, my friend? Having a better week this week. All right, where's the other? Is that the piece? Ooh, that's hot. Delay totally
Oh, let me see it a minute.
mitered.
Let me see it.
Trying to hold this part down for a second to make sure it stays. But see, I just think it adds a little character. We're not trying to make it look, you know, fancy. bring it down. I shouldn't put glue all the way down here because we can piece this together. Touched up with
You can also
wax on, wax off.
You can use wood filler.
Who sent stars? Barbara Poston, you sweet sister. Thank you. What, Ronnie?
You can also use wood filler, and anywhere there's places like that that need a little touch up, you can put a little wood filler in it.
Y'all, this Form Flakes is hot. Okay, that piece needs to be cut off.
Okay, turn it over where it's laying on this side, like that. Take this.
Maybe we should get some of this glue off here first.
No, let's wait till I cut it.
Okay. It's tried to split some, and you can see where it's actually not staying down. So let me add a little bit more hot melt under here to try to get a quick stick. Once the glue dries, it'll help. Veronica said hi, Rodney.
Hey, Veronica.
Veronica, can you give us an update, sister? It'll have to be touched up a little, but that's fine. All right, let's do the other side.
Let me warm
Here's
it up.
some miter ones right here.
Okay, let me warm them up a little bit.
Veronica says, hi, Rodney. You're so welcome, Barbara says. Y'all, remember now, I told you the other day, and I want you to hold me to it. I'm going live every day in July.
Ooh.
To do something. Not necessarily craft every day, but I'm going to try. Veronica, surgery tomorrow. Hey, Kay. Did they say, Veronica, how long it will last? Keep Veronica in our prayers. She has had a really difficult time. The brain tumor. You need to really, really be praying for her. Holding her close in prayer tomorrow, for sure. And as she recovers.
It'll crack.
Mm-hmm. A half to 2 hours. And Veronica, what is it that they're going to be doing? Can you tell us that? So it won't keep splitting open. Praying for Veronica. Tell us exactly what they're going to be doing. Cranial pressure monitor. Okay, so they're going to insert a monitor so they can monitor your intracranial pressure. That's going to help take some of the pain away, Veronica. This one may have to be heated again. Dab of glue right there, right there. That's probably enough. Don't get it too hot. It's hard to handle. see if we can miter this piece in here. How much pressure is there in the brain? Hi, Dolly. How are you? Well, hello, Dolly.
She probably never heard that before.
Probably not. I'm sure I'm the first one that's ever sung that to her. That was the first play our son was ever in. Discovered acting later in his high school days and found out that he really liked it and he was real good at it. But Hello, Dolly was his first. And you know, the first is always the most special. It's so nice to have you back where you belong. You're looking swell. Dolly, this is not sticking, I can tell. Dolly. I'll probably get kicked off Facebook. That's awesome. It was awesome. He did so well. He's always been very, very good at imitating people. He can do voices of people like nobody's business. And so we had told him 2 or 3 times he should try it for some plays, and he wasn't interested until a female told him that he kind of was interested in, that he should try out, and then he did. It wasn't a lead role, but he was in quite a bit, did a lot of singing, and of course the practices were brutal. Hey, Micheline. The practices were brutal. What does that say about the fires? Are you guys getting any of the smoke from the wildfires in Canada? Nope. My sister Dottie did all the drama. Oh, did she? Dottie and Dolly.
A couple of weeks ago we had some, we could see it, but that's not as bad now here.
Okay, we're cutting off this excess so we can make a piece for the top. To have some surgery on it to take care of all these cracks in here. I may have to talk to my friend Tammy and ask her what she recommends I do. The smoke is bad here in Kentucky. Really, Barbara? We're heading to Lexington tomorrow to take the grandchildren back. I didn't realize it was still bad in Kentucky. It hasn't been bad here. We had bad storms today, but
that would have taken a lot of it out of the air too.
I just haven't. I mean, have we had a lot of smoke from all that anyway?
Just a couple of days, about a week ago.
Yeah, I don't think we've had
first
that.
bad, it dipped down. But
Micheline said hi, Rodney.
Hey, Micheline. But they had a lot of things called off yesterday, and some teams that practiced had to practice with masks on and stuff because it was so bad.
You can stick some in there. I'm gonna hold this together for another couple of minutes, y'all, just because it's really wanting to pull up on me. And I'm really not wanting it to. I live on Lake Erie and the smoke is bad here. Oh, Dolly, I bet. Are you having to stay inside? Hey, Chrissy Schneider, my sweet friend. You couldn't see the buildings yesterday in Lexington. Really, Barbara? I had no idea. My daughter, I told you, has been in D.C. for the past 3 days. But her husband's been there. It's 102 here. Heat is on going to what? To get this week. I think that was, maybe you meant higher.
Hotter next week.
Hotter next week. We're supposed to be love sitting on the porch. We are supposed to be. I love sitting on the porch. Well, sister, you don't need to be out in that stuff until it's all said and done. You need to protect yourself, that's for sure.
I think part of the trouble is this still has talc on it from where you made it. And glue and talc don't go together good.
It's cornstarch, but
Yeah.
let's see, y'all. Okay.
And we cut a little
I
piece
have
or two.
got to find my wax to work on this a little bit. Let me put just a tiny bit down in there and see if I can. This one is thicker than the other one that it's buttoned up against, and so it's not wanting to lay down flat. I'll just have to worry about that later. Okay, now we're going to add this piece on the end where we needed it. It just took something that looked like this on the back, was this like this all the way over. See, I got to get this piece taken care of, but when I put the wax in there, it'll be fine. I hope it doesn't come all the way south, Veronica. We don't need that for sure. I had no earthly idea that it was doing that in Lexington. This is not good, you guys. Oops. Ronnie, I need you on comments. I can't keep up with them.
My phone doesn't keep up very well, but I'll take a look and see what it says.
Sam will be taking. Oh wait.
Sam will be taking Drayden to Lexington tomorrow to meet up with our oldest son, so he can have a mini vacation.
Oh, good.
With his brother.
Good, good, good.
My friend in Tennessee said the smoke is there too.
What part of Tennessee?
Smoky Mountains.
Smoky Mountains. He's really funny, you guys. Thinks he is anyway. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was in the Smoky Mountains, just because they're the elevation, but we haven't seen you around Nashville. Let me put it that way. Okay.
Bledsoe County.
We're going Bledsoe County. Where's that?
I'll find it.
I don't know, y'all. Okay. So now I'm going to put this piece, the paint on in the cinnamon, just for decoration. And I've got my little holes poking through here where the screws go when it's screwed into the wall. So that's going to help me position that piece. So again, we're going to put some wood glue, which really don't necessarily need wood glue on here, but it's just extra glue. Ronnie's going to be working, y'all, on his experiment he's been talking about for a while on what glues work best on what material and what materials don't take certain types of glue, which would be very helpful to us crafters. Let me sit this down right there and right let's see.
I think Bledsoe's right at the base of the mountains.
Bledsoe is at the base of the mountains.
So I
What
think
happened to my comments? I can't see comments.
Well, it's because you're the crafter.
No, but I had been able to see them. Okay, you guys, and then I'm going to put a roll or a partial roll of paper towels on here so you can see what we've got. We go. Okay, decorative piece unless, oops, that wasn't good. Right off. Hold, please. Hurry. for a minute. I can't read comments. My comments went bye-bye.
All right. Barbara Polson says she loves that. And that's the last comment I've got after Bledsoe County.
Today for the 4th, you guys. My nails were ratty looking. Now, is it going to stay or is it going to slide? Should I stay or should I go? All right, let's see here. Now, is the paper towel supposed to come from the front or from underneath?
This is not toilet paper.
Front
This is
or
by
underneath?
Bledsoe.
Dayton? We know where Dayton is. We had friends that went to school in Dayton.
Chattanooga and Dayton.
Mm-hmm. Sure do. They went to Bryan College there.
That's where I was supposed to go today.
Okay, guys.
Comes off.
Okay, good. That's how I have it. All right, so look. Imperfect. I think when we get that Joan Collins piece put up next to it, it's going to look really cool. Even though it's going to be different, I am going to crackle it. But since the most of the Joan Collins picture is black, I think I'm going to put it on a black background and crackle it on a black background.
Dolly said, okay, I lived in Pikeville by Dayton.
Well,
And
I know where Pikeville is, Dolly. And let me tell you this. We had one of the first mission trips that I went on to the Dominican Republic was a medical mission trip. And most of us were not in the field of medicine, for sure. In the Dominican, if you wear a doctor's outfit or a nurse's outfit,
like scrubs.
then you're a doctor. That's how they look at it. And so we set up a medical clinic in this old rundown school gymnasium, and we had different, I guess you call it like centers. Like we would have a school desk, and there would be a doctor, and then like me sitting there. When people would come up, I would try to ask them in Spanish their name and their age and, you know, what their condition was. Well, and because we all wore scrubs, then they thought, you know, I was a doctor or I was a nurse. And the team, the actual medical team that came, and we also all pitched in and helped purchase some medicines to take over there, like antibiotics and stuff that they would need. Children's vitamins and things like that. And so the medical team that was actually, there was a very small team. I think there was maybe only 4 or 5 of them. One girl and the rest guys. And they were from Pikeville, as they said. And they truly were medical students. But the one girl that was with them, the little blonde-haired girl, was cute as can be. But we would tease her every day and say, now, where are you from? She said, I'm from Pikeville. So they were the medical students that ran the clinic. And y'all, upstairs, they had a dental, they set up a makeshift dentist office. And there were adults and children coming in there with teeth so bad, so bad. And some of those kids would be crying in extreme pain. I'm taking this back off some, y'all, just to try to see if I can figure out a way to glue it and make it not be so obvious it's not matching. And unfortunately, they did not have Novocaine to deaden the kids or the adult's mouth. And it was awful. They would sit up there and just scream. They were screaming when they got there in pain, and then, you know, the dentist would come at them with whatever they needed to take their teeth out. Oh, it was awful, awful. I went up there only a couple of times, and we didn't go actually in the room. We just stood outside the door, and it tore me up. I just couldn't take it. But I have to tell y'all a funny story.
Oh boy, here we go.
So we had been there for a long time in the heat. Everybody was tired, grumpy, ready to go back to the dorm and take a shower and then eat. And we still had people lined up coming from everywhere. And the pastor of my church at that time had been at this one station for a while. And so he had gotten up and he was walking around and taking pictures of, you know, our church members that were there and trying to make sure he had everybody captured. And after a while, he came over to me and he said, "Hey, Lisa, why don't you take a break and get up and I'll sit down and do your job." And I said, "Okay, that's fine." So I got up and started walking around. Well, this guy that had been in line, y'all, all day long, this guy had been waiting to see a doctor. And you could tell he was in so much pain, he could hardly stand up straight. And it was finally going to be his turn.
Hello, Kimberly.
Hey, Kimberly. I can't see anybody on here, so I'm depending on Rodney to tell me. So anyway, it comes time for this guy to get up there. Well, our pastor was the one that was supposed to be asking people their names and their age and what was wrong with them. And so when this guy gets up there and Pete asked him what was wrong, y'all, he turned around and pulled his pants down. Now, I look over at Pete, whose face is red as a strawberry, and he's looking at me like, "Get back over here," and I'm just shaking my head no, like, I'm not coming over there. I was dying, and I know it's not a laughing matter. It's not funny. I think he had hemorrhoids.
It was funny.
But, y'all, when somebody just turns around and bares their butt and you have no idea what's coming, I mean, what do? You know, you just sit there like, and so Pete,
Lisa, he was just overcoming the language barrier.
Pete was trying so hard not to laugh, but he was so red, y'all. And I was standing about 6 feet away. He kept looking over there at me and kind of, you know, nodding like, "Get back over here." And I kept shaking my head. Nope, I am not coming over there. No way, no how. I laughed until I thought I would be sick. I tried to not let the guy see me because I know he was miserable. He'd been waiting, like I said, all day. Every time you looked at him, he was bent over like he was just miserable. But y'all, the look on the pastor's face, like, what do I say? When he drops his drawers and turns his rear end to my face. Oh, I was dying. It was hilarious.
How do you say hemorrhoids in Spanish?
Yeah, I don't know how to say hemorrhoids in Spanish. I guess it's just hemorrhoids. Okay, y'all. Well, this is, as my grandmother would say, piecemealed together. And I am going to have to learn a little bit more, I can tell, about this Formflex before I'm going to feel like I've got it captured. I do think I want to put a couple of pieces in the back here, just to kind of finish this part out. So let me see how I can do that. It's not going to be mitered is the thing. So I will, again, I'll just take some wax and wax over it so that the white of the Formflex is not showing. But let me just get these pieces put on here. And I think when I get the other part done with Joan Rivers, I think it's going to be a really neat set. If I ever have an auction, it won't necessarily have to sell as a set, but I think I just picture these in somebody's cabin in the woods, or like maybe an Airbnb that tends to be more on the older,
Rustic.
antique-ish side, rustic side, or a man cave.
Shirley Ann Beckett said, hi, Lisa and Hubs.
Hello, Shirley. How are you, my
And Kimberly
friend?
says, I think I missed another good story. I need to go back and watch the beginning.
Yeah, you did, sis. You missed it.
Debbie Harris says, but, B-T-T-Y.
Debbie, I see what you did there, girl. See what you did. Whew. There's just some experience. And y'all, that same trip, this is what's so funny. That same trip. So every time we took a mission trip to the Dominican, most people that go on these trips had never been on a short-term mission trip before. And y'all, we saw some hard stuff every time we went. I loved it. I didn't love it that it was hard, but I just felt very at home there. And so we had to tell people every time before we went, now you're going to see things that you will not see in the States, and you're going to see some things that are probably really going to bother you. Oh, that piece that I just put on there was supposed to go right here.
Oh, and Grace said, Lisa, I didn't know you spoke Spanish. She is very, very good at it, Grace. Just next time you talk to her,
Grace.
Just speak in Spanish and see how she does.
Grace, poquito. Mi hermana.
Shirley Ann Beckett says, all I heard was that the preacher dropped his drawers. No,
Not the preacher.
The preacher was taking the basic information down, and the patient, I think a little frustrated that he wasn't communicating well, wanted to show what was wrong with him. So he pulled his pants down and showed everybody his hemorrhoids.
I think he didn't know how to tell people because he didn't speak English.
Yeah, that was sign language.
And so when Pete asked him what was wrong, he had to show him. And that really wasn't in the, we didn't get educated about that part. Anyway, so whenever, now where was I going with this? Because we were talking about something about the beach.
So Grace said, okay, from now on when I see you, I'll speak Spanish.
Hola, mi amor. ¿Cómo estás? Muy bien, y tú? Muy bien, gracias. Mucho gracias.
So you can practice, you
Mucho
said.
gracias. Okay, so anyway, what was I saying about we were going to the beach? What was I saying?
You're going to talk about the Pete going down the beach.
Oh, yeah. So at the end of every trip, we had a day of debriefing where we would go to the beach. It was about 2 hours away from where we had been.
Well, wasn't that patient debriefing?
Oh, my gosh, y'all. I can't.
Just can't take him anywhere, can you?
I have no words except I apologize, y'all. So, anyway, that trip before we went on our debriefing to the beach, Jeff and Vicky, who were our hosts there, they're from Louisville, and they live there, full-time missionaries, and Jeff and Vicky had told us, now, you all need to understand that the beach that we're going to is a European beach. That means that some of the women, especially women, will not be clad in many clothes. So just get ready. Now, our pastor at the time, he was the kind that got red just at the least little thing embarrassing. And so when we got to the hotel, they were having to check us in 2 by 2. And my roommate and my roommates, I had 2 roommates, we were the last ones to get checked in. Well, meanwhile, everybody else had checked in, gone out on the beach, gone to the pool or whatever. So when we got ready to go to the beach, we were walking out past the pool headed toward the beach, and our pastor, Pete, came walking by us, and he said, oh, do y'all want me to show you where the nude beach is? And we went, sure, Pastor. Yeah, sure, show us. So we're walking down the beach, and he literally is talking out the side of his mouth like this. looking straight ahead as he walks, so nobody will know he's even talking to us. And he goes, if you'll look to the right, and we looked over there, and y'all, there were women, lots of them, without their tops on, and I would say the average age was 70, 80. Which means that their boobs were hanging down to their waist. And they were just proud as could be and having the best time. And we were just like, oh my stars, get us back. Just get us back to the hotel, please.
Shirley says OMG.
Yeah, OMG is right. OMG, can you even believe it? We were just like, oh no, this is not happening, y'all. It was hilarious. So we didn't stay we didn't stay on the beach long. We just went on back. But yeah, you see all kinds.
Jill said, where is it? Where did she say it? Trip in 2016 to Iquitos, Iquitos. Things that I will never forget.
When you go on a mission trip, it will.
Yes, Shirley, there was some jiggling going on.
Yeah, a whole lot of jiggling going on. Y'all, I'm putting these extra pieces down here, but I'm going to have to make a whole nother piece to finish off this bottom. But y'all know I don't like to leave things half done, so I'm going to have to make another piece to go down here. But anyway, it will wreck you. One of the places that we did a lot of mission work every time we went down there is called The Hole. And it was the local landfill where literal shanties made of pieces of tin or cardboard or any material that any of them could find around there to just throw together to try to get a roof over their head. It was we had to go from the road way down into the hole, and right in the middle was a river of sewage. And there used to be sometimes two, sometimes just one huge hog in that bed of sewage. And then there were children and adults alike digging down in there trying to find pieces of wood or anything that they could possibly use to try to build furniture, to make something to sell. And when you first go and see something like that, if you've never seen anything like that before, you don't even have words to say. You don't know how to act. You don't know what to say. When we got back in the bus, Jeff and Vicky said to us, we're going to give you hand sanitizer when we get back in the bus. However, we're going to wait until we pull away. So just don't put your hands near your face. But there were, children by the hundreds running up and down through there, and they were chasing the van we were in and wanting us to hold them, snot running down their nose and everything. That part didn't bother me. I didn't care that they were filthy, had snot coming down their nose or anything. What killed me was just the fact that there truly are people who live that way. And the truth of the matter is the majority of the world lives more like that, not like we live. And so they had a feeding center down there, and my Dominican daughter, you've heard me talk about, that lives in Phoenix now, is married to a dentist. Her uncle, Diesla, was one of the local medical doctors. And at the feeding center in the Hole, the pastor and his wife that ministered to those people knew the families well enough to know which children needed help more. So they ranked them. The children that had no parents that they were aware of, so these were just kids running to and fro day and night, those got priority. The next one was those who only had one parent that was known. No. The first one was children who were very sick, that they knew had illnesses, very sick. Then the children who had no known parents. Then the children who had only one parent. Then if there was any left of the food, then they would distribute it, accordingly. Well, so the feeding center was in this dark little area. They didn't have electricity. So they cooked everything over a fire, and it was usually beans and rice, sometimes chicken, usually some kind of fruit. And so the children would all be sitting around, and then we, as the mission team, went in, and the cooks would hand us plates, and we would hand to the children. Y'all, right outside the door, there were kids who were not able to be fed because there wasn't enough food or they didn't qualify, standing there watching the children eat, which broke my heart, with their little distended bellies. It was all I could do to get through it day by day. And so Dr. Diesla kept pieces of gum in his pocket, in his coat pockets, because he'd wear a suit coat. And the little children outside would stand there and say, "Chica la por favor, chica la por favor." And he would hand out pieces of gum to these children until he had no more. And that got me. And every time I went back after that, I wanted to go to the hole. I wanted to be in the hole. I didn't care what it smelled like. I didn't care what it looked like. I wanted to be with those children and those people, loving on them. And they, as soon as they would see, us coming, the kids would just flock to it, just jump on us and love on you and want to be loved. Interestingly, many of those little shanties you walked by, televisions were going. And what they had done, Rodney can tell you better about this than I could. It was eerie the way they wired stuff. Tell them, Rodney, about how the wiring was.
Well, first of all, the hole was not an active garbage dump. It was where the whole city had dumped garbage for years, and they'd moved on to another place. So they allowed anybody that wanted to move in there to live in there, tax-free or whatever. They could just, if they could build the shack, they could live there, and they didn't bother them. But they didn't have electricity running there or meters or anything, so people would go up near the highway and throw a piece of copper wire across an electric line and string it down through there, maybe put an insulator or two on it. So there was just a maze of wires crisscrossed down, so they would dig copper wire or steel wire, whatever, out of the garbage and use it to bring down to where they get enough power to run sometimes they could run a fan, sometimes a TV, and I don't know that they might have even had a cooktop, but most of there's not enough power for many things. But they told us, and don't reach up and touch anything that looks like a clothesline, because it's probably a hot wire.
You get the kids running around in it all day long every day. The pastor there and his wife, we did end up building a church.
They built a big feeding center hanging off the side of the
in a church down there, which and in building the church, of course, they don't have equipment like we have in the States. So we would form a line from up at the road, literally down like this, coming down into where the church was built, and they would pass brico blocks, one person to the next, one person to the next. Then they would hand mix, what they call it, mekla, which was like the concrete. And then we would pass buckets. We'd have a bucket brigade, and we would pass buckets of mekla down there to pour. And then the buckets would have to come back up the hill so that they could fill them and then send them back down. And that was male and female doing it. There was no, I can't do that, or I'm tired, or I'm hot, or I'm sweaty, or whatever. I mean, if you had a medical condition, obviously
instead of a concrete mixer, we just would pour out the cement and the gravel and sand in the road, and just take shovels and mix it up in the road, and then put it in buckets and pass it on down. So some of those times we were passing blocks, sometimes we were passing gravel, sometimes sand, sometimes mixed up cement.
And then we would hand tie rebar with wire.
Lots of rebar.
So, but it was, y'all, that's what I mean. It will wreck you in a way that is so positive and so good. But here's the thing. If you go on a mission trip, and you don't know before you go what's going on or how things are, when you leave, you do. And then you have the information. Once you have the information, what are you going to do with it? Doesn't mean you have to go back to the Dominican Republic or Uganda or, you know, out of your own city, maybe not even out of your own home. But when you see people who are literally dying because they don't have clean water, we take that so for granted. When you see kids and adults digging through sewage, trying to find something to build with, let alone something to eat, you can't just come home and go, that was a great vacation, or that was really a good trip. You can, and some people do. I can't. I just can't.
Jill said she was blessed more than she blessed.
Absolutely, Jill. I have said that every single mission trip I've been on. Because here's the thing. The people in the Dominican Republic, I remember, I don't know if it was the first year or some year after that, said to me, some of them, a couple of people said to me, why would you spend your money and take your vacation time to come down here and serve us or work with us, especially in a place like the Hole? Why would you do that? To one of these, you've done it unto me. We took our kids down there, 2 of them, because we wanted them to see how the other part of the world lives. Kids don't have toys. They don't have video games. They get out in the street and they find a stick and they find a rock and they play baseball, and you don't want to be in the path of that rock being hit by that baseball, because some of those kids are good. They learn how to play baseball with a rock and a stick. They don't have bats and balls and all that. I mean, if they're part of a mission program and can go like to a Bible school or something, yes. But our kids in the U.S. are so overly blessed and overly stimulated, they don't know how most of the world lives. So then when you go and you see things like that, it's like, what, Lord, what do you want me to do? How can I help? And let me tell you this, giving them a handout, and this was a hard lesson for me, still is, giving them money or giving them stuff, that's temporary. It's good. And you want to give them the shirt off your back and everything you own when you're down there. What's going to happen when that money runs out and you're not there? So giving them a hand up, teaching them, it's like the story in the Bible, teaching men to fish rather than giving them fish. And so that's what mission trips are really supposed to be all about. There's a great book, if you're ever interested in reading it, called When Helping Hurts. And I would encourage everybody to read it, even if you're not going on a mission trip. It will really help you get into perspective the purpose of a mission trip. And I've had a couple of my friends ask me over the years, why in the world would you go out of the country to do missions when we have people, we have homeless people right here, we have people starving right here, we have children here that need to be taken care of? You know what? That's exactly right. We do in all of the United States, all around us. Truth of the matter is, I do missions here. But the U.S. has tools and services available to most anybody that needs help. They don't in third world countries, most of them. They don't have help. So my question to a couple of those people that have questioned me over the years, what are you doing here? The least of one of these, Jesus said, you've done it unto me. So not everybody can go overseas. Not everybody feels called to go overseas. Not everybody can afford to go. That's fine. Not all of us are supposed to do that. But there may be missions right in your own home, in your own backyard, in your neighborhood, in your office, in your kids' schools, in your church. when you have the information and you realize how deeply and incredibly blessed we all are, you can't not do anything, y'all. I've had people come back from mission trips in Uganda where literally when you go in a store, if you want cereal, you pick this up. This is the cereal you get. You want milk? This is the milk you get. You want bread? This is the bread you get. And so you go over there and that's what you do. And you learn to adapt your taste buds, blah, 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 blah. And you come back and you go into Kroger or you go into Walmart or you go into Aldi. And all of a sudden, there's 45 different cereals. And there's 8 or 10 different kinds of milk. 2%, low-fat, buttermilk, almond milk, soy milk. And there's, you know, whole grain bread, wheat bread, white bread. And I have heard people say, I have walked into a store and literally broken down crying and turned around and walked out because I couldn't do it. That's how affected they were. Of course, in time, you know, we go back to life as we know it. But if you ever get a chance, whether it's at home or abroad, to go even on a week-long mission trip, do it. And if you can't do it or don't feel called to do it and somebody tells you that they're going and there's any way you can help them financially be able to take that trip, and most of all, becoming a prayer partner with them before they go, while they're there, and when they come back, please do it. It means the world to people to know that they've got an army of people back home praying for them. I've never been to the Dominican and been afraid. I've never been to Uganda all the times I've been and ever been afraid, ever. I knew I had people back here covering me in prayer. And I knew I was right where God wanted me. And so, if you get a chance, do it. I don't know how in the heck I got off of all that.
Jill said you see a need and then act on it. She said taking kids is a good thing. Debbie says, unfortunately, the entire world has extreme poverty. And Barbara said, yes, we went on a mission trips here in the abroad for a mission trip, but I can do it here.
Absolutely.
And Jill says, love your heart, Lisa.
Thank you, Jill.
Debbie says, we make food and collect clothes for the homeless. And I have never come back from a mission trip here that I a changed person.
Absolutely. Do y'all know where I did my very first mission trips? The Appalachian Mountains of Kentucky. I went several times as a youth in my church, and then I went several times as an adult chaperone of the youth at that time in our church. And we went to Hazard, Kentucky, and did Vacation Bible School, and I loved every minute of being up there. We washed our hair in the creek, as they call it, across the street from where we were sleeping. Literally, we went over to the creek, took our shampoo, put our hair in the water, and washed our hair.
Sometimes slept in the church.
Slept in the church many times. Our daughter, one time, our oldest daughter got chewed up by mosquitoes. Oh, that child was covered in mosquitoes and miserable. I had to keep medicine in her just to keep her kind of groggy so she wouldn't be clawing at herself all the time. But that's the first mission work that I ever did as a teenager, and then as a young adult. And then my mother used to teach ACT teens in the Southern Baptist Church, and you know, I had to go because my mother was a teacher, and it was all about missions, and it was like, I don't want to hear about missions. I don't want to hear about going overseas. Okay, somebody else can do that. Now, I remember one time praying and saying, Lord, I'll go anywhere you want me to go, just don't make me go to Africa. 12.
And Jill said, I always said I would never go on a mission trip, but God woke me up one morning and told me to go to Peru. So I did, never regretted it.
Good. See? And did you audibly hear him, Jill? No. I doubt it. But you guys, when you are in tune with the Holy Spirit, when you have a living relationship with the Lord, the Holy Spirit will prompt you in ways that you cannot deny. I'll give you another example, and I've talked about it recently, and I'm going to ask all of you, if you have not listened to our nephew's last talk on Instagram, go to Instagram and look up Matthew Syler, S-Y-L-E-R. 42 years old, owned 2 businesses, and was involved in some other businesses. Very successful, a wife, 2 small children, a little boy and a little girl, driving to South Carolina for a business meeting, and he hardly ever posted on Instagram, and when he did, it wasn't usually video. And he said, I got up this morning and God gave me a word. And he started talking about and sharing the word that God gave him. Did he audibly hear God? No. He felt it in his spirit. And it was all about success. And, you know, you can think you're really successful, and you may be successful, but it's not all going to be by your own doing. It's not going to be without God helping you through all that. And he went through this whole thing, and he ended up talking about the plan of salvation and how, you know, we don't ever know when, you know, life on this side is going to end, and he wants to know that all of his family and friends are going to be in heaven, blah, 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 blah. That was on Monday morning. By Tuesday morning, they found him dead in a hotel room of a massive heart attack, we guess. Those were the last things that he said on Instagram, where he hardly ever posted. I'm convinced, and nobody will ever make me believe any differently, that the Holy Spirit was prompting him, while you're driving, turn Instagram on. I'm going to give you the words to say. You guys, that has already impacted so many people, and I believe will until Jesus returns. Our hearts are broken and grieving because Matthew's no longer here on earth with us. It still seems surreal. It still does not register with Rodney and I that he's gone. I called and left his wife a message today. It's the first time I've been able to even speak. He had a relationship, a living, vibrant relationship with God, and he knew in his being, in his knower, I'm supposed to say this, and he did. Matthew Syler. So Jill said, I woke up one morning and God called me to go to Peru. Did you notice she didn't say God woke me up and told me to go on a mission trip? Or God woke me up and suggested that I might want to think about that. He was specific. God woke me up and said, go on a mission trip to Peru. And he made the way, and she was obedient, and she walked in it. And she said she's a changed person for the rest of her life. And she came back feeling like, as I say, every mission trip, y'all, you think that I came and blessed you. No, the blessing was mine. The blessing was mine. And it still is. I've got somebody calling me tomorrow morning early from Uganda. She just needs to talk. I'll get up. They're 8 hours ahead of us. I'll get up and talk to her or listen to her. Because to me, she's like family. So, preach. Just when things like that get on your heart or your mind, start out telling y'all a funny story about the guy who came to the medical clinic because we were talking about Pikeville, because somebody was from Pikeville, where that team was from, and then that led to the Dominican trips and Appalachian trips and Ugandan trips and Matthew Syler and
in Peru. Here
we go, in Peru. So we did do a little craft, believe it or not. We finished a little craft. And so I'm going to put it in here and show y'all. I have some touch-up to do with the wax where some of the form flex separated. But here is our old-timey paper towel holder that I still have to wax all this and make another piece to finish down here on the bottom, because I want this, where am I showing? I want this bottom part finished down here. And then I'll do the Joan Collins blackboard thing coming up soon. And then we'll see how these two look together. So you guys, please pray for us tomorrow as we travel to take the grandchildren home. I understand that their home is without air conditioning right now. Their air conditioner's broken. And then pray for Ronnie and I as we travel on to Ohio, and he does a job there, and then we return home. And when we come back, I may not do anything but stay in the bed for about 3 days.
God led me to you because I needed a like-minded friend.
Who said that?
Barbara Poston.
I love you, Barbara. One of these days, sister. I'm going to be in Lexington tomorrow. Maybe you need to ride to Lexington with your husband so we can meet. Message me and let me know.
We got gas.
We'll be staying in Lexington tomorrow night, probably at a hotel, since they don't have air, and then we'll be leaving pretty early Saturday morning so we can get to Kathy D. Domenico's in time for the party at 5 o'clock that night. So I hope you all have a fabulous 4th of July. Just remember how blessed we are to live in the land of the free because of the brave. Many of you have family members I know that have served our country, and many have lost their lives serving our country. And I say all the time that families sacrifice just as much as those serving. And so I'm grateful to any and all of you who have served, are serving, or will serve. And as we go through the 4th of July, let's don't take for granted ever the independence that we have in this country, because in spite of our differences politically, religious differences, whatever, so many people would do pretty much anything to be in our shoes and living in our country. So let's be the big people that show the world how America truly is the land of the free because of the brave, and let's respect it. So have a great 4th. Be safe. I love you all. Go out and bless somebody and be blessed, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye, y'all.